Hi, I'm going to do a walkthrough for Seneca Square Dance, or Waiting for the Federals, it's sometimes called. I don't know why. Anyway, Seneca Square Dance. The tuning is standard G tuning. And I, unlike me, have put a tuner on, so I know that that's where it is. And the tune goes like this. It's an AABB, so you do the A part twice, you do the B part twice. It's a really nice tune, seems quite common in sessions over here in the UK, so it's probably a good one to learn. It's a G tune as well, which is handy just to know. And so how does it start? It starts on the open second string, so twice and quarter notes, and then that's a hammer onto the first fret, open first, open second, and then second fret on the third string and pull off. So it's they're quarter notes with that pull off, not eighth notes. And then it goes into the E minor shape, which is that. So second fret on the fourth and second fret on the first. They're both D strings, so that makes sense that they're the same fretted. So, and then he goes, so I do a full brush of the chord as a quarter. And then it's the second fret on the third string and open. So it's the timing on that is important. So that's a dotted open second. So that's a one and a. It's the same as 3/8, I think. So a dotted quarter. And so there's a shorter note after that to make it all balance up. And then you repeat the first phrase. And then the finish of the phrase. So that's so you strike the second fret of the third string, and you hammer on to the fourth fret, pull off to the second fret, pull off to open, and then it's the second fret on the fourth string, fourth fret on the fourth string, and then back to the open G, which is the open third string. And that it finishes a few phrases, so it's useful to kind of get to know that phrase really well. Then I did it with a slide up and down again. That's harder. And normally I would do it with the hammer-on pull-offs, as I've just shown you already. So that's the A part, you do that twice. And then the B part starts on the fifth fret, for me anyway, some people play it low, I play it high. Fifth fret of the first string. That's you pull off from the fifth to the second. Some people do it like that. So that's the drop thumb to the fifth fret on the second. and then pull off that first string, and then pull off the second string. But I normally play, because my fingers are long enough. If you don't have a span that does that second to fifth, sorry, that works too. So, and then back to the fifth. This is the same length of notes, the same phrase, but with different notes. Instead of going down, you go up. So it goes to the second, the seventh, and then the ninth, and then the ninth from the third. And then from here, you can do what the fiddles will do is, so that's a hammer, strike once and then hammer on and pull off. Quite often when you're playing at speed, it doesn't really sound that top note for me enough, but that's it. Hey, that's the way it goes. And that phrase to finish again. If that's too much of a stretch, what I do is, again, which fits absolutely fine. So when the fiddles go, you go, and that works absolutely fine. That's Seneca Square Dance. Now, I did a video of this in a really low tuning on an old antique banjo that does go a bit higher, but actually it sounded really cool, quite low down. And it was in a low G, so it was the equivalent of double C, but really, really low. So even lower than a long neck banjo would be with nylon strings. And it sounded really cool. But playing it in a double C tuning, I think makes it a little bit easier. So I'll retune now and go into double C. And I'll stick my tuner on here. But I'm going to do it really without using my tuner, just to remind you how to do that. So you're in double C, you're in standard G, going from standard G to double C. We drop the fourth string. And we drop it until the seventh fret of the fourth string is the same as the third string. And it's not quite there yet. And then what we do, so that's where I want it to be now, then we tune the second string also to be C. So actually, what I do with this, I do the harmonic on the fourth string and then tune the second string to that. So harmonic. So that the harmonic, I should explain maybe, don't press the fret down, just hold your finger lightly on the string over the 12th fret and it gives you the octave. And that should be the same as the 5th fret on the 3rd string. And that sounds okay, right? So then get my fingers into double C mode now. So actually, I haven't got my fingers in double C mode at all. Anyway, so it's quite handy switching between tunings because it helps you understand tunes a bit better, and the relationship between the strings as you change the tunings as well. So everything that I was doing on the 4th string, I'm now doing on the 3rd string, and everything I was doing on the 3rd string, I'm now doing on the 2nd string. So that phrase at the end, for example, it's exactly the same, but it's just moved from the 4th and 3rd strings to the 3rd and 2nd strings. Now, first phrase, it's the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then 5th fret, and then pull off from the 5th to the 2nd, and then we go to the E minor shape that we did before. We go into the A minor shape, the relative minor in this tuning. So that's the 2nd fret on the 3rd string and the 2nd fret on the 1st string. So that's the 2nd fret. And I can do that as a hammer on, or sometimes I strike it, but it's the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. That repeated phrase again. So the B part then goes down instead of up. So because we'd be up here for the B part, and that's a bit harder, we go low in this tuning. So it's the open 2nd, 2nd fret on the 3rd, and then pull off, and then a quarter, 1/8 and a quarter on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And that's the open 2nd again, and then down to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. So that's 2nd on the 2nd string, hammer onto the 2nd, hammer onto the 4th, and then the 2nd fret of the 3rd. And then this phrase is easier in this tuning. You remember me saying what the fiddles were doing in G. Well, now what the fiddles would be doing is easier to play. So that's the 2nd string, hammer, so you strike it, hammer on, pull off. And then it's a 2nd fret of the 3rd string and pull off. And then it's back down to that 1/8 and a quarter note on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Hang on. And that phrase to finish. Now, so you might be thinking, okay, but that's in C and it is a G tune. And the way I worked this out actually was in a session I was caught in double C tuning, and suddenly somebody kicked off into this, it was a bluegrassy session where the key was about all over the place. So what I'd had to do, and this works if you can tweak your tuning, and again it helps you to understand how the fretboard works a bit. Well, if you know your chords in double C tuning, you'll know that the root is C, and that the 4 chord is F, and that's there on the same chord but on the 5th fret, and the 5 chord is G, and that's on the 7th fret. So to get from double C tuning to play in G with the capo, this is kind of breaking all sorts of rules, but hey, it doesn't really matter. I would capo at the 7th fret and then just quietly check tuning. Get it right. And that works to play in G. And actually, because of where your where the 5th string is, I would usually put the capo over just the 4, 3, 2 and 1 strings. Because actually if you put it over the 5 string as well, that then becomes in the wrong place. So what I would do then is probably spike it and tune it up. So I've got spikes on the 7, 9 and 10. And so if I spike it at 10, so that's how to play Seneca Square Dance in 2 different tunings, albeit that one of them, the double C tuning, easier to play. It sounds nicer, but it's not the tuning it's normally played in. So to get it, you either have to go really low, or you have to capo up here, or of course play by yourself. That kind of works as well. So that's Seneca Square Dance, waiting for the Federals. And hope you like it, hope you play it, and yeah, have fun. Cheers.